So finally, the message is, it's time to bang the drum together. And I'm going to give you a word that I think encapsulates all the things we've talked about today. It's the word that really means everything. It's the word of courage. Courage, or C, stands for concentration, coherence, congruence, making sure that government policies, the kind of work that Jessica Noble had to do when she had no one virtually helping her, and fantastic job again, Jessica, reaching out to those people. One of the unspoken things that happens is we don't really give government credit, because we think government's the enemy. You know what? When somebody's advocating for change like Jessica, they are overwhelmed, and we've got to reach out and say, yeah, I will help you too, because they're the ones that are our best allies. O is, to me, one family, one village, one community. It is what Devon was talking about. It is, are we raising our village? And I'm going to ask you right now, if it takes a village, are we raising our village? Are you raising our village? I'm asking you. Will you? Yes? Let's try that again. Take two. If this is about a new village, are you raising our village? Yes. That's a little better. I'm going to come back to that a little later. U is united. It's undivided. It's unprecedented. It is the United States of Kansas. It sounds corny, but it really is, that if we all agree today that parents have to be integrated, that this whole learning clock has to be so important that we set aside personal politics, we can go to a new level. R is responsible relationships. In other words, it's not results before you've made the relationship. If you, for instance, turn around and say to the young people, why don't you abstain from sex? It's also got to be turned around and saying, how can we work together to make sure both sides are understood? We can't accuse, we have to develop more communication. And that's where the relationship comes in, is saying, I'm good enough, I'm going to take my jacket off, and I'm going to take off this conditioning that has come from all the pressures of being a place kicker, of being an administrator, a teacher, a nonprofit leader, a student, and I'm going to say, I'm going to take off, I'm not going to take off all my clothes, but I'm going to say that we have to learn to rid ourselves of these conditioned clothes where we always act the same way because it's our job, it's an old budget, it's an old set of priorities. A is attitude of excellence, and that there are truly angels everywhere. You are the angels. You are the ones that will become, and that already are, but have to take it to the next level. The angels, and I'll give you this other A, acorn, because in Indian country it really says it all. I'm going to speak to the young people in particular. Really the message has been today that you are the acorn, and within that acorn is a fully grown tree. All the answers are already there. And our job is to help you discover every single branch on your tree, every single leaf, everything that you can possibly be. Because when you know your entire tree through, as we talked about, rejection, humiliation, huge mistakes that someone said it was hardwired into our DNA, then you can have a different perspective on really what your highest purpose is. G is graduating with honors. It is those great seeds. It is the growth that has to come with pain, even with suffering, with risk, but also with the courage to stand up and give voice. You know what? Like all of you here today, young people, remembering that if you can articulate your vision and give it to others, that why wait till you're 25 or 30 to become the leaders that give the adults in Kansas an idea that they have partners in the future. And finally, back to emotion. And really beyond that, I'm going to just share with you a very personal side of this, which is ego. Devon talked about it, I'm going to talk about it as well. As an athlete, I've had to really unlearn and shed those clothes of ego. I was measured by how many field goals I made, how many ones in a row I made, and I had to learn that the ego is really an interesting thing. It helps us set goals. It helps us define who we are, we think. But in reality, we get trapped in identities. Identities as students, identities as young people, identities as good fathers, bad mothers, bad fathers, bad administrators. And really, ultimately, no matter what religion you are, the ego is the other side of unleashing this freedom of your spirit. your spirit. Aren't we unleashing the spirit of a young person to fly as far as they can? That's really, to me, what it's all about. And I'm having to learn, as a former athlete, that the best part of my life is ahead. By shedding those identities, even if it's great to be a Hall of Fame kicker, it's even more important to feel this wonderful sense of connecting with other people, because I'm not on some stupid platform, right? I connect with you as a human being. You know, I missed field goals. I felt that pain too. I love that ability I learned to focus. And right now I'm challenging all of you. It was the very first thing I think I said today. It's really about focus. If you focus on how we're divided, then that's what we'll take with us from today. If you focus on how we connect, if you focus on how you can grow, if you focus on how you're learning to articulate and take risks with that vision, then you'll be a totally different person. And, you know I'm here doing work that's far more important than any field goal I ever kicked. You know, another thing about Kansas, by the way, we talk about Barack Obama today. Where did he get his values? What state? Kansas. Do you think that he walks with that swagger, as they say? Do you think that maybe what people saw in him was about what he got in Kansas? Not Hawaii, not Kenya. In Kansas with a grandmother, grandparents, right? From Kansas. Why can't we say that? What's so bad about that? Kansas values gave him a sense of purpose. And he could have gone to a rich law firm, but he spent his time in Chicago. No matter what political side of the spectrum, he wanted to find out about how neighborhoods worked, how villages worked. And that came from Kansas. So we know Kansas has that sense of community. I'll tell you right now, I live in Phoenix, beautiful weather, but Kansas has a sense of community. Wichita has a sense of community. You all here in this state have a sense of community and social values that really are a huge edge over the rest of the country. Take advantage of that. Don't ever take anyone saying, oh, other parts of the country have anything better than right here, because you get it. And let's take advantage of that. So I'm going to leave you with that thought of Thomas and Jeffrey, that 10 and 11-year-old, those young people that were finally given a chance to just say what they believed in. Who is that 10 and 11-year-old in your life? Who is that person you need to give hope and engagement to? Who is it? I just think all of you are fantastic for being here today. Thanks for listening to me and to all the others. This is just the beginning. And I'll leave you with my favorite quote from Teddy Roosevelt, because here is when the good work starts. It's not the critic who counts. It's not the man who points out where the strong man stumbled. The credit belongs to the man or woman who is actually in the arena, who falls down and fails and comes short again and again and again. But in the end, who knows the triumph of high achievement, and if they fail, at least fail while daring greatly, so they will never be lost with those cold and timid souls who know neither victory nor defeat. God bless you. Thank you so much for being part of this.